KTN News.
Well, that brings us to what's trending this morning. Remember, we are KTN News on social media, and I'm here with Anne Musungu. Anne, good morning. It's good to see you. How is it on social media? A lot on the budget. You've seen just the story we have played here, a protesting Kenyan against the budget reading. Quite interesting times we are in. Please bring us up to speed on what has caught your attention on social media, especially as far as the budget is concerned. Just, bring us up to speed.
Good morning, Anki Doris. So the social media is chaotic right now. So just a brief of the key allocations on the budget, which was 3.9 trillion. So for the education sector, we had 656 billion allocated, which got the larger part of the cake. And it's a win for the education sector because 13.4 billion was also allocated to transfer the JSS teachers to permanent and pensionable, and like we've seen last month, they were on strike demanding for good working conditions and a contract for PNP. And also for the health sector was allocated 127 billion, but compared to the estimate, compared to compared to what they wanted before, there's a slash of 11 billion. So the health sector is going to suffer a big one. And also the security sector that got the second largest allocation of 377 billion. So that is what we have for the allocations. But also we have Kenyans are not so happy. So we even saw people on social media having a petition signed to reject the finance bill, because we're living at very harsh economic times, and I don't think this is doing most of us good.
And something interesting also caught my attention, that Hello Mheshimiwa and the numbers leaking on social media. I mean, how is the trend till today? Because members of parliament have vividly come out to say we might not really shut down this, Finance Bill 2024 in entirety, but really, what were Kenyans actually saying? If we go into the, the specific probably comments that caught your attention, do you think it was all negative, or do you think this should be the trend really, in as far as this kind of public conversations are concerned?
I think it has reached a time where Kenyans say we're taking it by ourselves. We're not asking people via go to Senate and go to the parliament and kututetea, but they took it upon themselves to call their members of parliament and ask them, don't do this. We voted for you, don't pass the finance bill. But we've also seen media personalities and celebrities go on social media and say the finance bill should not be passed. And common Mwananchi is not happy about this. So I hope something will be done about it.
But there's also a very somber mood, Anne. I mean, it took to social media the shootings that happened yesterday of the magistrate and the OCS. I mean, corridors of justice are supposed to bring justice. What are Kenyans saying about this very tragic incident yesterday?
First and foremost, it's so sad that at a day like this, someone will just shoot someone in a public gathering. So the OCS of Londiani was not so happy about the magistrate ruling on his wife, and this led to him shooting the magistrate twice. And in a chaotic back-to-back, he was later shot and dead immediately. So people are actually so surprised that things like this can actually happen. You see, we don't expect in a well-maintained government environment for things like this to happen. Yeah.
In fact, just to bring people up to speed, we're looking at the judiciary so far has actually condemned the act, but also Japhet Koome has assured the judiciary of safety. I believe, is it Martha Koome, or, because the president of the courts equally spoke to this matter. It's quite tragic. We'll continue to follow up on that as well. I believe the magistrate is recuperating, is it, Anne, yes, from the bullet wounds? Yeah. Okay, but we lost a media personality, dear to our hearts, Fire Mama. Yeah. And she had this really, big thing that she was pushing for all people who were suffering the same, condition she had. And now Natalie has come out to echo this voice. How has this really caught the heart of Kenyans? How is it going? What was the reactions of Kenyans? And do you think it has impact this far to, the authorities who probably have watched it or read this tweet?
So it's so sad that we lost Fire Mama. She was a very sensational media personality. A lot of people loved her from the events that she did, from the championing that she did for girls and women suffering endometriosis. So we've seen Natalie Githinji also wrote a letter to the president and his deputy asking them to have a sitting and talk about measures that they can put in place to ensure that it doesn't get to that point, because from what Njambi was putting on the social, she had gone through several surgeries, traveled to all over the country for certain medication which we don't have in the country. So Njambi is asking maybe if this can be put into place, and maybe the Ministry of Health can get into it and ensure that it doesn't get to that point. Yeah.
Yeah, and we continue to stand with, you know, the family of the late icon, legendary Fire Mama. But of course, it's very good to have you on the show. I'm Musungu. I'll see you again probably next Friday. We take a very short breather, however, and then we'll be right back with more. Remember, our sister station as well has a very special covering after this break.